In other news, Ukraine has reportedly sent United States an updated plan for ending Russia's invasion. And this as US President Donald Trump laid into European leaders in the latest sign of a growing transatlantic rift. A first US plan involved Ukraine surrendering land that Russia has not captured. It was seen by Ukraine and its European allies as caving in to too many of Russia's hardline demands and has since been revised. A Ukrainian official told AFP that the revised plan takes into account Ukraine's vision, calling it a further proposal for adequate solutions to problematic issues. The official, however, declined to disclose the details pending the reaction of the American side. But Trump, who has been pressuring Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to agree to a US plan, swiftly expressed impatience with both Kiev and its European allies. Trump said he spoke with the leader of France, Germany, and United Kingdom about Ukraine in pretty strong words, adding that the US was no longer spending money directly on Kiev, but instead selling weapons to NATO allies that were then supplied to Ukraine.
Selling basically missiles and everything else to NATO, and NATO is paying us, and then they distribute it to who they want. I guess they're mostly distributing to Ukraine, but we're not spending money. But you know, we're spending a lot of time and a lot of effort.
On Monday, Ukraine's European allies put on a show of support for Zelensky, and this as they expressed skepticism about parts of the latest US proposal to end the war. Trump added that the Europeans wanted to hold fresh talks this weekend, but warned that they risked wasting time.
They would like us to go to a meeting over the weekend in Europe, and we'll make a determination depending on what they come back with. We don't want to be wasting time. Sometimes you have to let people fight it out, and sometimes you don't. But the problem with letting people fight it out is you're losing thousands of people a week. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Tension remains high on the battlefield. Kiev claims that sea drones hit and disabled a tanker involved in trading Russian oil as it sailed through Ukraine's exclusive economic zone in the Black Sea to the Russian port of Novorossiysk. The attack is the third sea drone strike in 2 weeks on part of Russia's so-called shadow fleet, which are unregulated ships that Kiev says are helping Moscow export large quantities of oil and fund its war in Ukraine despite Western sanctions. According to an official at the Security Service of Ukraine, the Dacian tanker was sailing at the maximum speed with its transponders off when powerful explosions hit its stern, inflicting critical damage on the vessel. However, he made no mention of possible casualties in the incident. Russia claimed its air defense systems have downed as many as 287 Ukrainian drones overnight, including 40 outside of Moscow.